British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced he will step down as leader of the Labour Party on Monday, bowing to mounting internal pressure following a bruising round of local elections. Delivering an emotional speech outside 10 Downing Street, Starmer confirmed he accepts the party's decision with good grace and will remain as caretaker Prime Minister until a successor is chosen in September.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
The dramatic downfall was triggered after former Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham won a crucial by-election in Makerfield, gaining a seat in the House of Commons and positioning himself as the favourite to take power.
Score two down here, the other.
To Andy Burnham, member for Makerfield.
After being sworn in as a Member of Parliament for Makerfield, Burnham called for orderly and responsible transition, declaring on social media that he will seek to replace Starmer as Prime Minister. Responding to the resignation, hard-right Reform UK leader Nigel Farage demanded an immediate general election, insisting that the British public will not accept another professional politician being pushed into office.
Have the courage.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen praised Starmer for his statesmanship, noting his work in strengthening continental and Ukrainian security during his 2 years in office. The impending transition will see the United Kingdom appoint its 7th Prime Minister in just 10 years, highlighting a decade of intense political volatility across Westminster.
Spain's Supreme Court has sentenced ex-Transport Minister José Luis Ábalos to 24 years in prison for corruption. Ábalos was once a senior figure in Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez's Socialist Party. He was convicted of offences including participation in criminal organisation, corruption, embezzlement of public funds and influence peddling. The court also sentenced Ábalos' former aide, Goldo Garcia. The two men were accused of having pocketed kickbacks for handing out public contracts worth millions of euros for medical supplies such as face masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. The ruling is a major political blow for Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, as he is facing mounting pressure from opposition parties over a series of separate corruption investigations involving current and former figures linked to his political and personal circle. The Supreme Court's decision is particularly significant because it is the first major final conviction involving a former senior member of Sánchez's administration.
The second EU-Moldova summit taking place Monday in Brussels is a testament to Chisinau's institutional reforms progress, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Moldova, Mihai Păpsoi, told Euronews. Last week, Moldova reached a milestone in its EU accession talks with the launch of the negotiations on the so-called Fundamentals Cluster, which reviews the rule of law, the justice system and fundamental rights in a candidate country.
It is very much in our interest, in the interest of Moldovan citizens, to make sure that we consolidate Moldovan institutions, that we make democratic consolidation irreversible, that we deliver to the promise we made to our citizens to combat effectively corruption, to consolidate democratic freedoms.
In parallel to EU accession talks, Chisinau has to deal with Russian disinformation and the Transnistria issue.
The two tracks, the European integration and the reintegration of the Transnistrian region, are two parallel tracks. Because otherwise we would give the Kremlin leverage and de facto veto over our accession process. But we're working hard to make sure that all Moldovan citizens benefit like they had already benefited from the deep and comprehensive free trade area, which the Transnistrian region of Moldova has benefited a lot as well.
After Moldova applied to join the EU in March 2022 and received candidate status soon after, accession negotiations were formally opened in June 2024.
China has imposed export controls on 10 American companies involved in defense, aerospace and rare earth mining in response to Washington's decision to expand a blacklist of Chinese firms it says have links to the country's military. The measures were announced on Monday by China's Commerce Ministry, which said Chinese exporters would be prohibited from supplying dual-use items to the listed entities. Dual-use goods are products that can have both civilian and military applications. The sanctions come a month after US President Donald Trump visited Beijing for talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping aimed at stabilizing relations between the world's two largest economies. Although both sides agreed to work towards reducing tariffs, tensions have since resurfaced over technology and defense. Earlier this month, the US Defense Department added several major Chinese companies, including Alibaba, Baidu and BYD, to a list of firms it says have links to the Chinese military. The designation prevents them from receiving US military contracts.
Pope Leo XIV warned that it is far easier in today's world to feed conflicts than to feed people during a visit to the United Nations World Food Programme headquarters on Monday. Speaking in Rome, the pontiff strongly denounced complex political decisions and skewed ideological positions that create numerous administrative barriers to humanitarian assistance while allowing weaponry to pass unhindered.
To strengthen solidarity in this spirit, I wish to appeal to the governments and peoples of the world to renew and strengthen their commitment, to increase the resources dedicated to combating hunger and its root causes, and to remove the obstacles that prevent aid from reaching those in need.
The Pope also stressed that this operational imbalance represents a severe breakdown in moral priorities, noting that chronic hunger actively erodes social cohesion and accelerates forced global migration. The Pontiff also reiterated that access to essential nourishment, water and healthcare must never be subordinated to market commodities or volatile geopolitical interests. While praising the international organization for its dedicated commitment during natural disasters, he urged global leaders to place human dignity above market profit to ensure international stability.
In the Greek island of Andros, visitors can explore 5 monasteries, including the oldest one in the Aegean. Perched at an altitude of 600 meters, the monastery of Panagrados St. Panteleimon is like a fortress on the northern slopes of Mount Hierakonnes, being there since 961 AD. Its abbot is 93 years old and has lived there for the past 70 years.
Το μοναστήρι το βρήκα ερειπωμένο. Δεν είχε ούτε δωμάτιο, ούτε τραπεζαρίες, ούτε κουζίνες, ούτε τίποτα. Δόξα τω Θεώ τη βοήθεια των ανθρώπων και ενός εφοπλιστού φτιάξαμε το μοναστήρι και υπάρχει σήμερα πολύ ωραίο και πολύ περιποιημένο.
The monastery quickly attracted thousands of pilgrims and became a point of reference for the people of Andros.
Ήταν τόσο πολύ καλός ο κόσμος εδώ τότε, όπου είχαν το μοναστήρι ήταν σαν νοσοκομείο, σαν ίδρυμα, όχι σαν μοναστήρι μόνο για τις καλόγεροι. Ερχόταν ο κόσμος να πάρει τη χάρη του Αγίου.
In recent years, however, the historic monastery has also become an ark of contemporary Greek art. Its imposing restored tower has been transformed into the guardian of art, an art gallery dedicated to spirituality and contemporary artistic creation. The collection consists of approximately 60 works by Greek artists representing a wide range of styles and artistic approaches.
Μπορεί να φαίνεται ότι είναι κάτι πρωτότυπο ή κάτι παράτολμο. Στην πραγματικότητα όμως η Εκκλησία πάντα τολμά και χρησιμοποιεί τη γλώσσα της εποχής της για να κοινωνήσει το μήνυμα της αγάπης του Ευαγγελίου του Χριστού. Άλλωστε η τέχνη και η θρησκεία είναι συνομήλικες. Ανέκαθεν οι θρησκείες χρησιμοποιούσαν τις τέχνες της εποχής τους. Ο σκοπός που έγινε αυτό ακριβώς είναι και να υπάρξει ένας διάλογος ανάμεσα στην Εκκλησία, ανάμεσα στην πνευματικότητα και τους σύγχρονους δημιουργούς. Και αυτό να έχει και ένα αντίκρισμα στις σχέσεις της Μονής με τους επισκέπτες. Διότι οι άνθρωποι που επισκέφτονται το χώρο έχουν την ευκαιρία εκτός από το να δουν τα έργα, να συνομιλήσουν και με τους μοναχούς.
Τους περασμένους αιώνες οι πύργοι προστάτευαν τα μοναστήρια από πειρατές και επιδρομείς. Πλέον αποτελούν κυβωτό τέχνης και συμβάλλουν στο πολιτιστικό απόθεμα και αποτύπωμα του νησιού. Από την Άνδρο για το euronews, Απόστολος Τάικος.
Luigi Cherubini's Medea, presented by the Greek National Opera at the Ancient Theatre of Epidaurus on June 20th, was met with enthusiastic acclaim. An audience of 10,000 spectators gave a standing ovation to this visually stunning revival of the historic production that Maria Callas famously performed at the same venue in 1961. Demand for the production was extraordinary, with all tickets selling out as early as February.
Après, le personnage il est très difficile aussi parce qu'il faut aussi interpréter. Il ne faut pas seulement chanter, il faut l'interpréter, il faut vivre la femme qui est Médée, la magicienne, la sorcière et ce homicide atroce qu'elle fait à la fin de tuer ses enfants. Donc il faut vraiment se mettre dans ses vêtements pour vivre à 100% le personnage de Médée. Et c'est très difficile, surtout ici dans ce lieu où Maria Callas a chanté ce rôle magnifiquement.
The original 1961 production was directed by Alexis Minotis, with sets and costumes designed by Yannis Charouchis and choreography by Maria Hors. Reconstructing this landmark staging proved particularly challenging, as no video recording of the original production survives. The revival was the result of many years of research and meticulous study of archival material preserved in the Historical Archive of the Greek National Opera, the Cultural Foundation of the National Bank of Greece and various private archives and collections.
Έχουμε μόνο εικόνες που είναι μαυροάσπρες. Οπότε αυτές οι εικόνες μας βοήθησαν να αναπαράγουμε το σκηνικό. Στα κοστούμια δεν ήταν το ίδιο, γιατί είχαμε αρκετά κοστούμια, περίπου 150 της εποχής εκείνης από τον Τζαρούχη. Και αν δείτε σήμερα το αποτέλεσμα, δεν καταλαβαίνετε τη διαφορά μεταξύ του πρωτότυπου και αυτού που έχουμε κάνει τώρα.